Yeah, look at this shit. Just got off the bus. Yeah, and I saw them motherfuckers up there. They wasn't making no noise at all until I got off the bus. Okay, I was on the bus and I saw them flashing their lights. Oh, now she walks across the street here. Alright, trying to use, again, these women, look. She got red hair, that's what it is. The color red. Alright, she got red hair. Okay, who we got here? Oh, now you got the Spanish chick. Oh, the white chick, oh, she's Spanish. Yeah. Oh, look at her with her shoes. Yeah, come on, girl. You coming over here? You coming over here with your thick thighs? Huh? Spanish chick. Okay, yeah. Funny ass people. I guess they got a little club over here. I tell you, they never stop. That's why I gotta keep doing this, to show you every tactic, every method that they do, that they use, that they try. Okay? And so I hope when people see this, they'll develop a counter tactic to the things that they do. Right? Okay? Okay, that's what needs to be done. These fanatics. Yeah. Oh, I guess she walks over here. What, to take the... As soon as I come to the bus stop, she walks back over here. What is that? Garbage? Oh, they're taking the garbage out, right? See this shit? Oh, I guess they can't use the garbage truck. I guess they can't use the garbage truck. Alright? What happened? What happened to the sanitation truck? Yeah, you see, I'll tell you, see the girl standing here, the one all in black. She's all in black, you know, they have a red wig on or weave on. Alright? Then the Hispanic one over here, there she go. Okay? Come over here. She goes, they wait till I come over here so they can go into their car and take the garbage out. Wow. I'll tell you. Never fails. And the thing about it, that they're the one that's garbage. They're the one that stink. Their mentality, their personalities. And it's funny when you see that it is narcissistic people, that personality that's being created within them and their children by those that are of the dark triad personality type. Okay, so what happened? So they have to create people that think somewhat like them in order for them to get away with what it is that they're doing. You know, if you're a kind person, right, and you raise your kids to be kind, these people are narcissistic in nature. I shouldn't say nature. The narcissistic personality that's being created within them by those within the authoritative position, right, or those within the security agencies. So their children will become that way, right? And they're around people that way. So they feed each other their bullshit, their narcissistic supplies that they give to each other. And so they think that, then when they meet a nice person, a good person, what do? Right? If they can't control that individual, if they can't manipulate that individual and control them, then they seek to destroy them. You have to understand how these personalities behave, and those within law enforcement are they are the most narcissistic, malignant narcissists of all people who are in the public sphere, right? Those that are in law enforcement, those that are in the security agencies, those that, because they feel they have authority and power, that they can do whatever they want to whoever they want. And unfortunately, another U-turn again. And unfortunately, right? And unfortunately, the victims of their malignant narcissism and their psychopathy and sociopathy are black people, particularly black people. I was going to say black and brown people, but particularly black people, I would say. Right? So when I see black people engage in this sort of behavior, I gotta shake my head, but I understand. I understand. It is Stockholm syndrome. It is cognitive dissonance. Okay? They don't even understand it. See, this is why I'm heavy into psychology as well as tech. I'm heavy into psychology because the two field that's going to make you understand what's going on is technology and psychology. Right? Those two fields have merged, particularly within the security agencies, within law enforcement. Okay? So unless you understand that as a TI and just as a person in the general public, and you don't have to be an expert at it, but you have to have some understanding of it and how they bring it together to create these sort of programs and try how they mask these programs as being, well, we know that they're not lawful, okay? So that's one thing, okay? But they mask it in other ways to try to get around the fact that they're not lawful. And they're committing crimes against humanity and torture. And when people say, the United States don't commit torture, I beg to differ, because you can go back to the early 2000s. The American Psychological Association, the APA, two of their board members were involved in torturing prisoners in Guantanamo Bay and also in Abu Ghraib. Right? So again, these are the people who are making decisions to determine, and labeling you and I as this or that, but no one is looking at, another tactic, but no one is looking at their personalities. No one is looking at the personalities of the scientists, the neuroscientists, the neurologists, the doctors who commit crimes and murder. No one is looking at their personalities, right? So when you see that, for example, black women in the hospital giving childbirth, when they say that they're in pain, the doctors dismiss their pain. Look at this dude keep walking back and forth. He all the way over there. Look at him. Look at him. Let me zoom in a little bit. See if you can see him. Right there. Yeah, I guess he's wearing a gray shirt. All right, he's walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, putting his hands behind his head. Yeah, look at him. 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 Look. It's funny. People are funny, right? Anyway, as I was saying, right? No one is looking at these doctors. Okay, and what really bothers me is that you have black women who know this, right? Who date these type of individuals. And for me, like I said, there's nothing wrong with dating and loving who you want, but there's particularly a certain group of people, if you is of a person of color, should be very leery about dating, such as white doctors, whether they're male or female, white police officers, whether they're male or female, white military personnel, whether they're male or female, okay, and white corporate executives or managers, supervisors, whether they're male or female. Okay? Now, I'm not saying all, okay? I'm not saying all, but I'm saying the vast majority. And this is what we as black people don't understand. And again, this is not an anti-white thing. I'm just stating the facts, and it's the truth. Okay? Dr. Claude Anderson made a very good point. I was watching a video with him, and he says, 100 years after the slaves were free, they did a survey and they asked the majority of white people, do they support black people? And almost 100% said yes. Right? And then he went on to talk about, when the civil rights era, when they asked the majority of white people again, do they support black people, black agenda? And 80% said no. That they don't support black agenda or what have you, or black civil rights. Let's remember, 100 years after slavery, right? Almost 100% of white Americans do not support any sort of black agenda or black economic prosperity, right? And he said even to this day, the majority of white Americans do not support black economic upliftment, and which is true. So I'm not one of these black people who pretend that because we work together that somehow you have my best interest at heart, especially if I'm working with a white person. Now I have worked with white people who had my best interest at heart, like I said, so I'm not going to say all, right? But because they understand who I am, right? They understand who I am. I'm not a bigoted person. And they tell me, they're like, listen, you're a good guy, but I gotta tell you, you gotta be very careful of white people. White people have told me this, particularly in the industry that I was working in. You have to be very careful. And this was when I was, when I even just started out, and I was in my early 20s. I was told this, and I've been always told this by good white people. So I'm not saying all white people are bad, but unfortunately, there's too few good ones than the ones who are racist and bigoted, and those are the majority. So yeah, I'm not disillusioned. I always said, if I tell every black person, if you're going to date a person outside of your ethnic group, and I'm not going to say race because there's only one race, but we have different ethnic group, right? And some ethnic groups have different complexions, and what we want to call white people or Hispanic, brown people or red people or what have you, right? But if they're not working actively to tear down white supremacy and its white supremacist system, then when they look at you and they say that they love you, they don't. They may love certain things about you, right? But they don't love you. You understand what I'm saying? They may love certain things about you, but they don't love you. Okay? And they understand that you put them on a pedestal. And this is white people. We put white people on a pedestal, even in the Asian community. Right? There is a book. I just bought this book and I haven't even read it yet, but it's called it's called when the oppressed is engaged in helping and supporting the oppressor's agenda, or something like that. It may not be the exact thing, but I'll try. If I do another video, I'll get the name. Okay. And it talks about Asian. Well, I haven't read it, so I don't even read it. But I'm sure it's about people of color who were being oppressed, aid and abet the oppressors in the suppression and oppression of their own group. So again, it's important that we understand this. And I always tell people, I said, you know what? I said, a lot of people out there don't want white people in their organization, which I think it's it's not a good thing, because there are good white people out there. Like I said, they're not the majority, but they are good people out there, and we need allies. We need those who are of a different group, who understands the history, right, and understand that it is wrong what's being done, morally wrong, right? And they are willing to stand up, and they are willing to take the fight, even die. Okay? So you cannot say you don't want this group of people in your organization, because if they are genuinely working to help and to tear down the system of white supremacy, it would be foolish to not accept the help. Now you got to be careful, because there are those that will pretend that they did the help and they did the infiltrate and destroy. And this is why you have to move with a cautious ear and a cautious mind and cautious eyes. So, because we see this all the time. We see, the white people will create pages, would put pictures of black people in their pages and pretend to be black. Black people don't do that shit. We don't do that. We don't create fake profiles and put white people in the picture and pretend that we're white in order to, cause dissent and division within their group. We don't do that. That's not us. But they do it all the time. So I'm sorry this is going off into that area, but it helps me to cope and talk about these things, because like I said, particularly in the beginning of my targeting, it was mainly white police officers, white people, skinheads that used to be on the corner of the street where I'm walking. And so that's where I know who is truly behind this stuff. Okay, so there's no doubt about it. Even if listen, like I said, black people, particularly black Christians, they have a white supremacist living in their subconscious, and that's the truth. They don't want to hear it, they don't like it, but that's the truth. Right? That is the truth. And somebody posted something that said about what black people talk about voodoo as if it's evil, but yet they go into church and the priest give them a wafer, and he says this is the body of Christ, and some wine, and said this is the blood of Christ, and they drink it and eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, So again, we've been taught to hate everything about our African spirituality, our African science, spiritual science, and love everything about this religion given to us through the whip, brutality, murder. Okay? Now, I'm talking about within the last 500 years. Because obviously there were black Christians back in Egypt, Greece, Rome, but they practiced a different form of Christianity, and they did not call it Christianity. Okay? They call it Gnostic, right? Gnostic, which means to seek knowledge, obtain knowledge, right? So that's a difference, right? They didn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God, or what have you. And again, these are all just tales that was created. So unless you understand the history, you're going to be ignorant. So yeah, look at this guy. Okay, so look, he pulls up at the bus stop, and as soon as I turn around, he drives off. That's the reason why I I turned, because I wanted to show exactly what they'll do. They'll pull up at the bus stop, right? In this case, he just did, and as soon as I turn, right, to show what he's doing, he drives off. Another tactic. It's okay though. I love recording it. I love exposing it. And, that's what I do. Anyway, my bus is here. We'll see you guys in the next video.